we recognize that some people on the call really see the value of a Ninja Warrior course, but maybe your boss or somebody sent you this link and you've never been on one or never experienced one. So we're really going to dive into the real basic nuts and bolts for the next 5 to 7 minutes or so, and really kind of lay out for you what is a ninja course and why it's significant. So Anthony, if you could really just dive into that first aspect of what is a ninja course, and I'm going to show some photos while we're doing that, and then we'll go from there. So
Yeah,
what
for
is
sure.
a ninja course? Yeah, please.
Yeah, so there's a misconception. People hear Ninja Warrior and they think martial arts. Ninja Warrior obstacle course training is exactly the word obstacle course. It's, we're talking upper body obstacles, lower body obstacles, balance obstacles. We're working on flexibility. It is not martial art related. However, it does stem from Japan, from Suzuki training. So that's where it kind of came to be. But it's a real hybrid between gymnastics, parkour, rock climbing. It's kind of all rolled together, and the sport of ninja has evolved from that. As you can see in the pictures here, this is the staple warp wall, that the ramp that they run up to work on lower body, and you've got cargo nets and balance obstacles. So it is, and it's, to your point, we have a lot of children who really excel at this. Children who often shy away from ball and stick sports, the head-to-head competition in those sports. They can sometimes be uncomfortable or want to sit out on the sideline. Whereas with ninja, if you fall from an obstacle, you just get back up and you try it again.
Yeah,
So yeah.
that's awesome. That's great. Yeah, I think one of the interesting parts of it too is that the resilience factor, there's a great author, Angela Duckworth, that talks about how you can't simulate grit and you can't simulate adversity. You can only put kids in a position of adversity. And when you're on one of these courses, I really watch them face adversity. And it's interesting to kind of see that be a factor when people are looking at it. Is there like an ideal age group for Ninja Warrior courses?
So we typically start at 4 years old, pre-K. So at our ninja gyms,
Great. That's
we
super
got,
young. That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, well, that's the great thing about the ninja courses, that you can customize obstacles to hang at different lengths. There are different obstacles that you can choose from, some that are beginner, some that are more advanced. And if you are designing a ninja course, you want to take those things into account with your design. What's the age group that you're trying to accommodate? And then we would pick the obstacles that would be appropriate for that age group. And let's say you're trying to accommodate multiple age groups. Sometimes it's just a matter of changing strap lengths on an obstacle that's hanging in between groups or classes that are coming through. Changing the distance of the angled steps that they're hopping across to, which, you have a couple of pictures of that. It's just a matter of bringing them closer together or further apart, depending on younger or older, shorter or taller.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, I think, and that's one of the things as well too that I noticed. Like my 10-year-old super tall, my 8-year-old is not, and they both feel like they are excelling in Ninja Warrior. Like their physical body type does not play a factor in the experience they're having. And I think talk about basketball, like my 8-year-old would not be good because she's one of the shorter kids. Like we talk about softball, like, sometimes it's about hip movement and, like my 10-year-old's going through growing pains, but it's fascinating to watch the natural movement that happens in
Mhm.
a Ninja Warrior course compared to some other activities. Do you find that's the case when you're watching and facilitating the classes as well too?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always nice when you speak to a parent, at our facilities, and they're like, this is great. My child never wanted to participate in sport, but they just love ninja, and they can't get enough of it. And what's cool about ninja is there's not just one way to do an obstacle. There's so many different ways, and sometimes kids can create new ways to do obstacles. So they like that about being able to come up with new ideas on their own, rather than like, no, this is how it has to be done. This is how a baseball is hit. No, but the ninja course, this obstacle in particular can be done multiple ways. So you're kind of you're thinking too, you're brainstorming, all right, what other ways can I do this obstacle? Maybe I don't have the strength to do it this way, but I can be creative and try that. And I think that's why the kids really love it. It's a swing set on steroids almost.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I think right, it's that creativity and critical thinking that
Yeah.
really makes all the difference and as a core component of programming. So, before we kind of dive into the exciting versus safety and building, like, is there anything that people should kind of keep in mind? We talked about age group, but also like location or budget. Like, is there any um, yeah, it seems like it's customizable to any budget and any location, is what I'm trying to say. Is that, do you find that's the case? Because some people operate out of different types of facilities and, are interested in putting it in, but also have to worry about maybe they share with membership and members are, it's the same place members work out. Like, is there any concerns about location or budget that would be off limits to building
Right.
something like
No,
this?
that's a great point. I mean, the nice thing about our designs, our courses, is that they can be installed indoors or outdoors. Obviously, with indoors, you don't have to worry about the weather. So for a summer camp, if it's raining, it makes it difficult to use the Ninja course. So, but however, I know that indoor space is very limited at camps. So outdoors tends to be a good spot to put them. Um, things to think about are like, where is the sun primarily? Are we putting it in a spot where the sun tends to bake out, bake that area and it's gonna, make the equipment hot to be on? So things like that, the warp wall, is it facing the sun or is the back of it facing the sun? So we want to think about those sorts of things. As far as the grounds around it, somewhat level. However, we're going to give you a footprint of cement installation, and the cement is what we will install the Ninja course on. Each steel upright will get bolted down into that. So even if the ground is slightly off, the cement will all be level. And
Oh,
then,
that's awesome. That's
yeah,
that's that's
so
great to hear. Yeah.
right, so you don't have to do a lot of work to level out the area. It's just you put in some cement sonotubes. If you're doing a warp wall, you'll do a cement slab for that. And these are all plans that we would give you. Unfortunately, we don't have cement companies to travel all over the country, so we give a very detailed plan. And most of these camps that we work with have a maintenance team that's usually pretty capable of doing this work, so it saves them quite a bit of money. Um, but yeah, and then as far as the grounds afterwards, it's up to you. We have some camps that have done wood chips around it, rubber mulch. Some have done turf, which is like the most ideal. But as long as it's not just rocks and dirt, you're good.